Marketing Pulpit Show, and I am Robert Gatewood, your host. We are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good of marketing gospel. We're not saving souls, we're saving businesses, saving jobs, saving our community. Now, if I happen to save a soul along the way, don't hold that against me. We'll just call that icing on the cake. Now, the mission at Marketing Pulpit Show is to build strong businesses in our community so that we can put our people to work. And we do that with business development, job creation, and service. So if you ever find yourself in a business crossroads and not sure which way to turn, just turn on the Marketing Pulpit Show because we're on a mission. The show is broadcast live from the illustrious Radio 1 studio. Welcome to the Marketing Pulpit Show, and I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. And I'm here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. We're not saving souls, we're saving businesses, saving jobs, saving our community. Now, if I save a soul along the way, hey, what can I say? My dad was the preacher. I didn't get called into the ministry that he had, but I have a different ministry. I'm in the ministry of saving businesses, putting people to work. And that's my mission, my raison d'etre, my reason for being. And thank you for joining me this morning on that mission. You can go to marketingpulpit.com. You can even join the conversation. If you want to comb your hair and brush your teeth and put on the top, you can actually join the conversation, come on camera and talk about some of these pressing issues we have going on today. So go to marketingpulpit.com. You can also find out more information about the show and the broadcasting options. Let's see here. So we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitter or X. We're on Instagram, and every now and then we also broadcasting live on Radio 1 95.9 FM on your radio dial. Let's see here. We got a lot going on today. Today is March 15th, also known as the Ides of March. Man, when I was a kid, we used to study Shakespeare, and I remember those soothsayers. They were telling old Julius Caesar, he was heading over to the Senate, and they said, "Beware the Ides of March." Well, Ides of March, it just simply means the 15th of March. It actually was in 14 BC. That was the notorious date that Julius Caesar was assassinated. You heard that famous quote, "Et tu, Brute," his own BFF stabbed him in the back. Hate when that happens. So today we're going to talk about beware and how to watch your back. And does somebody have a target on your back? Do you have a target on your back? We're going to talk about that and how you can protect your back. And on this Ides of March, man, oh man. Well, actually the word Ides is a Latin term, and it means to settle up. Like on the 15th, that's when people are supposed to settle up the taxes and all other kind of stuff back in the old days. But anyway, I want to ask you a question today. Do you have some settling up to do? Think about that. You to marinate on that for a minute. Do you have some unsettled debts out here that's kind of gnawing at you? And I don't necessarily mean financial debt, but sometimes it's personal debt. Sometimes it's a beef. It's a disagreement. Let's take this Ides of March and settle up those debts, because sometimes you have those little beefs, those little disagreements that's kind of blocking your blessings. You have all these great things you're trying to do. You've got proposals out, you've got contacts, you've got a business to run, you've got employees to manage, you've got inventory to order, but you got this thing just gnawing at you. It's a beef. Something needs to be settled up. So I'm going to tell you on this day, instead of getting stabbed in the back, let's look at this from a different angle. Settle up those beefs. Let's take that word Ides, like I said, which is the Latin, the term means to settle up. Let's settle up some of those beefs out here and get things moving. Move that junk out of your way. You don't need it. You've got good things to do. You've got business to go out here and create. All right, let's do that on this Ides of March. I'm Robert Gatewood. I am a business developer by trade. I have a company called Gatewood Marketing and Web. You can find me on gatewoodmarketing.com. You can also find me on marketingpulpit.com. And you can also find me on just about everything social media. Go to Marketing Pulpit. You'll find me on all these different platforms. I have a company. I've been doing this about almost 30 years. And I'm also a professor at Prince George's Community College in the DC area. I've also written 2 books, one called Played in Full and another called Smarter Than the Boss. I've been working in the government space for the Small Business Administration as a technology consultant. And I've just been out here trying to live my purpose. But when you get a purpose, it's hard to be denied. Your purpose is about what you're on this earth to do, your raison d'etre, your reason for being. And if you ever get lost along the way, if you're doing like 15 different things, one thing in the morning, another thing at noon, another thing in the afternoon, another thing at night, just ask yourself, are they all pointing you in the same direction? But if one's got you going here, another got you going there, another got you going back here, you need to kind of let some of those things go and get some things, or at least take those things and try to point them towards your purpose. You've heard me mention a lot of things that I'm involved in, but I tell you one thing, they all have in common. They're driving me towards building businesses in our community and putting people to work. And you can do that too. Let's see here. Don't forget about the business directory. We have a very popular marketing pulpit business directory called MPI. And you can get it at mpi.bz and get your name in that directory so we can shout you out. Let people know about you, that you exist. You're out here spending all this money on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, and you have this resource right here in the community that's right here. Got me, yours truly, putting you out there, and we put you on these different platforms as well. Let's see, do we have anybody new this week? We have a Made to Measure. Matter of fact, Made to Measure, that's a very interesting organization. A young lady, matter of fact, she called me and she said, look, she was introducing me by one of my good friends, attorney Mel Forbes, and said, you got to talk to this young lady. She's doing things. Well, she has a product. It's called, there's a thing called Fajas. I guess it's like some type of girl. I learned a lot of information by being in this line of work. I didn't know that folks, when I got these enhancement surgeries, you just can't jump off the operating table and go out there and start twerking or whatever you do. There's a process. You got to wear a certain type of garment for a certain period of time. And anyway, if you are interested in finding out more about Made to Measure, go to mpi.bz and put your name in that directory. Let's support these people who are in these industries. We have some featured members also who've been with us, who's sponsoring the show. People like Bradley Thomas Law, people like Eternity Plumbing, Mr. Brown, my friend. Let's see, Minister of Wellness, Mr. Nathaniel Jordan, HBCU Leggings, Miss Amina Hammonds, doing some great things about to launch her products in the Sam's Club coming up this summer. And of course, our good friends BLE Executive Suites, who are sponsoring this show. And they have the first Friday coming up on April 5th. Miss Bernadette Clay herself is going to be entertaining us and educating us on 5 wealth strategy tips and tax tips. So go to marketingpulpit.com and register for the upcoming First Friday networking event. It's going to be on April 5th at 9701 Apollo Drive in the DC area. And I'll be there. I'll be there emceeing and getting things warmed up. Also, we want to welcome our good friend, Gentle Hands and Feet, out of great young lady, Miss Claudia. She's helping young people in the people with disabilities. And of course, just go to mpi.bz. You'll see all of the great sponsors and people that have been working with us to get this show off the ground. And of course, Holla, HOLLA, the nonprofit. Matter of fact, that's one of my brothers who's actually having a great thing down in North Carolina, sponsoring a lot of events. They're putting a lot of people together, helping these young people learn how to read and start businesses and just be well-rounded people. Thank you again, Holla, for joining us. And we have some other events coming up. Matter of fact, on the 18th of this month, that's Monday, I'll be teaching at Prince George's Community College. I'll be teaching social media strategies. We're going to talk about some of the trends that are going on, some of the great things, some of the great opportunities out here in social media, things to avoid, things to jump on. So that's going to be Friday, next Monday from 6:30 to 9:30. And that following Thursday, I'll be teaching Networking Works at Prince George's Community College. You can go to pgcc.edu and find the schedule and take some of these courses. They are in the Business Owner Success Series, entrepreneur program over at Prince George's Community College. I've been proud to be a part of for the past 25 years. I know I started when I was about 3, right? Wink, wink. Let's see. Also, don't forget the First Friday is coming up on April 5th. Let's see. Got a couple of folks chiming in here saying hello. I see Brother Brown, the greatest plumber in town. Good morning, Brother Brown. Glad to see you this morning. I see Sister Colette Jackson. Thank you, Sister, for joining us this morning. and she's doing some great things out there. I love associating with people who are doing great things, and that's the two people. If you want to get a shout out, just go into the feed and drop your name, and we'll announce you over these airways on this Marketing Pulpit Show on this Friday. Ides of March. And if you're looking for a business, if you're starting a business, which you should be, go to blesweets.com and get there. They have a 50% off your first mailbox and business address. So if you have a business and you're trying to get your business off the ground, you don't want to be giving your name and phone number and all that stuff to these strangers out here. So for safety and privacy and professionalism, they have a professional mailbox service where you can pick up your mail. They'll even scan it and send it to you if you don't feel like driving all the way to Largo. And they also will answer your phone, and you get a professional business address. And sometimes that's required for some of these contracts you're trying to get into. Go to blesweets.com or call them at 301-322-1700, and they are also in the business directory. This month of March, of course, we have some observances. This is National Women's History Month. And I've always been a big proponent and supporter of the women that are doing great things out here. It's also National Listening Awareness Month. Gotta listen. It's about, don't be one of those folks that do all the talking, but don't listen. You gotta listen, because there is something about, there's a respect that comes with listening and giving people their due, letting them voice their piece. So when you're listening, you're more socially and emotionally aware and connected to the people that you're communicating with. On this National Women's History Month, and later in the show, we're going to talk about watching your back. Watching your back. This is the Ides of March. Don't let Brutus stab you in the back like he did Julius Caesar. Are there some Brutuses in your life? Are you a Brutus? We're going to talk about it coming up in our next segment. But before that, we're going to talk about celebrating and uplifting women during this Women's History Month. So how can you, as a lay person or business person or politician or preacher, teacher, butcher, baker, candlestick maker, how can you help uplift and celebrate women during this month? Let me give you some tips on how we can do that. First of all, let's recognize the achievement of the women in business. We are a business platform. Boy, we have some great ones on this platform. I'm looking at my good sister, Miss Bernadette Clay of BLE Executive Suites. I mean, powerful, amazing sister. She's going to be the speaker at our next First Friday coming up in April. Look at Miss Arietta of Good Hands and Feet. God, that sounded terrible. Look at Miss Amina Hammonds of HBCU Leggings, about to get her product line in the Sam's Club. So the list goes on and on and on. I mean, even my sister, Colette Jackson over there, who's working towards her doctorate. She's going to be Dr. Jackson pretty soon. Looking forward to that day. So let's recognize, to begin with, these successful women in our midst. Also showcase them. Showcase them in your platforms, on your product pages and your marketing materials and things like that, and support them in their efforts. If they have a business, nothing speaks louder than supporting them financially, buying their products and services, showing up when they're meeting, going to their social media page and post and share what they're trying to do. So there's all kind of ways we can celebrate and uplift women during this Women's History Month. Also, you can host events like we're doing it the First Friday coming up that show and highlight the initiatives that focus on women achievements, and have a panel, and have a discussion, a round table. And let's talk about it, how women can support each other and uplift each other, and how you can be involved. Use your platform like this one to raise awareness about gender rights, about gender issues, women's rights, and becoming an advocate for the program that they support. And this platform has been known for that. I'd like to talk about my sisters at the Eta Phi Beta sorority, and we're proud to support them in their efforts with their disability month and things like that. And connect people. You probably know somebody that you can connect to. Some of these sisters out here who are doing great things. Sometimes it takes a phone call. Sometimes it takes an introduction. Sometimes it takes showing up. like I said, you have these events and things like that. Walk somebody over and introduce somebody and help them with their aspire and with their aspirations. So there's things that you can do. It doesn't always have to be monetary, but there are many ways that you can support women during this Women's History Month. And I know you can do it. All right, let's see what else is going on. What we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about a couple of items in the news. We're also going to get into our topic for the day. Your back. You got to watch your back. Do you have a target on your back? We're going to talk about on this Ides of March, the 15th of March, Julius Caesar, in 14 BC, he was assassinated. And one of his best friends joined in the assassination. And back then, they didn't use high-powered rifles. They used knives. So he stabbed him. And why would somebody want to stab you in the back? Well, I'll tell you one thing. Sometimes just the fact you have a back is all the reason somebody need to stab you in it. But we're going to dig a little deeper. So hang on a second. This is the Marketing Pulpit. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. And we'll be right back in a moment. So don't you go in and all right, we're back. This is the Marketing Pulpit Show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. I'm here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bring you the good marketing gospel. I have a mission to build strong businesses in our community and put people to work. I'm so tired of people out here moaning and groaning about, I can't find no job. We ain't doing this. We ain't doing that. Well, look, just come right here every Friday. We're going to fix that, okay? We're going to show you how to get those jobs. We're going to show you how to build those businesses so we can hire our kids and stop sending our kids over to neighborhoods where people hate them and expecting them to treat them right. Doesn't make sense when you think about it. People are hiring their own kids. They're hiring people they know. They're hiring people they like. And why do you want to put your kids in the middle of something that's not going to be productive for them? It's going to damage their self-esteem. So let's fix that by creating our own businesses. Now, there's more to it. It's easier said than done. You can't just throw a business out here and start. You got to do it right. And that's what we try to do here. We've been doing this now for 14 years, trying to show you how to do it. And it's a process. It's not just sales. It's not just getting new customers. It's all about the mindset. It's about the mission. It's about the market. It's about the money. Those 4 M's, don't forget. It's also about keeping you abreast of what's going on so you can contextualize your thoughts. We don't operate in a vacuum. So when I'm giving you the news, I'm not just trying to entertain you, even though it can be rather entertaining sometimes. But I'm trying to let you know where you might fit into this big picture, this big rock called the Earth and these United States. But we also look beyond our borders. We have to look down south and look at the country of Haiti. Haiti is in turmoil right now. Man, Haiti. Well, right now it's sinking further and further into the abyss. And it seems like it's been kind of jacked up since the assassination of the President Moise about a year ago. And things have never really gotten back on track since. Right now, they say these gangs are running about 90% of the country. And just the thought of that, a gang running the country, now I guess whether you call them a gang or opposition or whatever you call it, it doesn't sound good. And you keep asking yourself, how does Haiti get in this situation? Why are they always seem some kind of turmoil? Well, sometimes the usual suspects. People have been mad at Haiti since they came one of the first Black independent countries in the world back in 1854 to Saint Overture. And then, of course, France put this big levy on them. They had to pay all this money just for becoming free. And then, of course, the United States has been in there a couple of times occupying, and you just can't go in here and just destroy a country and then look at them side eye when they seem to be struggling. You have to wipe all this debt off the country. You have to lay down some foundation. Look, I'm not going to try to tell you how to get Haiti together, but just letting you know, these things don't happen in a vacuum. Anytime you see any of these countries that just can't seem to get it together, look to the usual suspects. I'm just saying. All right, let's talk about some other things in the news. The House passed a bill to ban TikTok. And it's going to break some people's heart. Some of y'all love your TikTok. Well, of course, it's not really banned yet, but what they're doing, they're saying that unless they sell it to this other place, to somebody else, then they're going to try to get it banned in the United States altogether. Of course, that's kind of ironic that the president of the United States just started posting on TikTok. Now they're trying to close it down. But anyway, it has to head to the Senate, so there's a process involved. It's not banned yet. What else is going on? Dollar Tree is closing 1,000 stores. See, these Dollar Trees, I mean, they're great when you just need to run in there and grab some tape or get some gift wrapping paper. But what they're doing, in many cases, they're taking the place of grocery stores. And we have these food deserts out here, and instead of putting in a big Weis Market or Wegmans or Jane or Safeway or Aldi, they're putting in these Dollar Trees, and you don't have the vegetables, you don't have fresh foods and meats and things like that, and it's just kind of like putting a Band-Aid on a problem. So I'm not sure I'm mad at these stores closing, but I am kind of disappointed that we do still have these food deserts in our community. But I think the community also has to do better. We got to rein in these bad kids out here grabbing all this stuff off the shelf and running out the store. And I mean, it's gone wild. So let's look within. What can we do as a community to help make our communities more attractive to investors? We just can't say, well, look, you just can't complain when they get up and leave, but you didn't do anything to alleviate some of the reasons they're leaving. Now, some of the reasons, of course, though, had nothing to do with they're just plain old racism and some other bad actors. But there are some things that we can do as a community to make our communities more attractive to investors and places like grocery stores and things like that. Let's get into our topic for today. We're going to talk about beware the Ides of March and why watching your back is crucial in business. Man, I tell you, I have some stories where I have seen this up close and personal. I'll give some examples as we get into it. But anyway, the phrase Ides of March, as we stated earlier, come from this Shakespeare play, Julius Caesar, where the soothsayers told Julius Caesar as he was heading over to the Senate to beware the Ides of March, which is really the 15th of March. And of course, he didn't heed the warning, and as a result, that was the sounding bell of his assassination. Now, it also, this day serves as a warning of betrayal and backstabbing in both politics and business. Now, some of y'all are sitting there saying to yourself, you're giving some people side eyes and you're starting to think, well, it's not the purpose for this discussion today. It's not to start looking at people askance and start being suspect of everybody around you. But it does ask us to start being more selective in who we hang around, and listen to some of these ideas I'm going to impart upon you. First of all, recognize the importance of trust. Building trust with essential people is important in business. And that trust doesn't come nilly-willy. It takes time. It takes test. When I say test, I don't mean like 2 + 2 is 4, that kind of test. But you have to build it. You notice when you see a lot of people, when they start out in business, they start hiring their family members. Sometimes they don't have the qualifications to do the job. It's because those are people that they can trust. Sometimes they bring in childhood friends because they're trying to establish trust or surround themselves with people that they trust. Now, of course, eventually you got to bring in some strangers, and that trust has to transcend beyond just families and friends. So when you're looking at that trust, you have to kind of don't put absolute trust in anybody too soon, because you have to look for the warning signs of possible betrayal. Now, what is some of the signs you can look for when you think somebody may be potentially going to betray you? Well, if you start seeing a lot of unreliable behavior consistently, you just can't rely on this person. They keep letting you down. Watch your back, okay? They don't follow through on commitments. They keep telling you you're going to do something. They don't follow through. Watch your back, okay? And trust your instincts. You cannot ignore these signs. And once again, I'm not here today to start looking at everybody suspect, but there are some signs. Now, how do you mitigate the risk? How do you make your backstabber proof? Well, you can't make it backstabber proof, but you can make it less of a target. Once again, develop that strong network of loyal, trusted advisors. I'm just going to tell you, some of your circle is just too big. Yep, I said it. Your circle is just too big. There's probably too many people in your circle with too much responsibility. I keep thinking about my good buddy, Joe Madison, thing he used to tell me. And he would tell anybody who would listen. He said, I take my people with me. And I'm a big fan of loyalty. I worked with Joe Madison almost 25 years. He could have had any webmaster in the world. But Joe understood. Keep your circle close and keep loyal people around you. Now, when you have these people around you, also you have to establish clear channels of communication. Set boundaries. Now, sometimes these boundaries that you set, they don't have to be in writing. They don't have to be part of your standard operating procedure. They could be mental. They could be just inside of you. Like when certain things get to a certain point, I need to rein something in. So these boundaries, they can be in writing, but they can also be mental. And regularly assess your relationships. Relationships change. Sometimes you start making more money, people change. And sometimes those relationships change with it. And be willing, I know this is hard, be willing to cut the ties of people who pose a risk to your organization and to your security of your company. And sometimes you don't have to be as drastic, just cut them all the way out, but you may have to really demote them in terms of what kind of information you're willing to share with them. I remember, give you a couple of quick case studies, and I've been at this for a long time. I am long in the tooth. I've seen it all. I remember when I was with this company. I've been with this company. I was with them about 15 years, big food company over in Virginia. And we were selling food to beat the band. But one day we decided to partner with this company. We were selling food. They were selling diet plan ideas, just kind of content. And we said, look, okay, this is what we're going to do. We do a deal. We'll cook the food and you'll introduce our meals to your base. Seemed fair enough. And we're going to pay you $50 every time somebody signs up. Well, of course, both of us made a lot of money in a very short period of time. But it must have been the Ides of March. When I was calling up to set up the plans for the next year, they didn't return my call anymore. Now, this is a company we've gotten on a plane. The owner of the company and myself, we drove down to Florida on a plane to meet these guys, pretty much did a handshake deal. And we renewed about every year. But this year, they weren't returning our calls. Hey, buddy, our buddies down in Florida, they kind of disappeared on us. What's going on here? Make a long story short, they had decided that they could make their own food. I'm not saying that wasn't illegal. It wasn't even, but it was a stab in the back. That's not much of a way to put it. It was a stab in the back. Of course, the relationship fell apart. We didn't protect ourselves. We gave them too much money. We gave them too much information, gave them too many of the company secrets. We didn't protect ourselves, and we didn't cut the relationship soon enough. Had another example. Young man, young brother, had started a technology company. He brought in another young man, another brother, and they grew the company. But he kept his ownership at about, he had about 65% of the ownership, gave 35% to this other young man to kind of incentivize him. Well, as they continued to grow, they brought in a third partner. Beware the Ides of March. Well, of course, make a long story short, the young man he brought in sided with the other partner that came in, and the original owner somehow gave up more than 50% of the company. These other two young men put him out of his own business. So these are kind of extreme examples, but really not so extreme. They happen every day in business. Beware the Ides of March. Now, what are some of the risks? I've just given you a couple of vivid examples of not watching your back. Well, one, you could be feeding a potential suitor or competitor. Somebody in your midst could be your biggest competitor down the road if you're not watching your back. Somebody in your midst could internally sabotage your business. Somebody could actually steal your company secrets. Somebody with their lackluster effort and lack of loyalty and commitment could cause you to miss opportunities. And of course, somebody in your midst could betray you, just plain and simple. Now, I'm gonna flip the script for a minute. So, one thing I've learned over the years also as a business owner, you have to be self-aware. So while you're looking at somebody and wondering if this person's going to betray you, guess what? There's somebody looking at you. They're wondering if you have a knife in your hand aimed at their back. Remember the backstabbers, that song the OJ used to sing? Blades are long, held tight in their fists, aim straight at your back, and I don't think they'll miss. Smile in your face. Backstabbers. So what do you do? So you've got, I'll use like some of the folks I work with. I work, like I say, been at this over 25 years. And I've gotten very close to some of these companies and their owners. I know their family members. I've been in their homes. And they have every right, after hearing this conversation or before, so what if Gatewood, what if he's one of these backstabbers, want to take my ideas and sell them off? Or, well, that's why I say we have to rely on this thing called self-awareness. That means how do other people might see you? So you as a business owner or as a consultant or as an advisor, you have to ask yourself, am I making myself transparent? Okay. Or are you giving somebody a reason to look at you with the side eye? So this is one of the things that I do and I advise you to do. When you are a trusted advisor and you're around people, you're close, you have their numbers, you are around their family members, don't give them reason to suspect you. And I just go overboard on this. I want people to feel comfortable around me. So I am extremely transparent. I follow up. I communicate. I make sure you have no reason to feel that this guy is going to do you in. He's not going to be the Brutus and put the knife in your back. So self-awareness, be aware of how you carry yourself around people. So anyway, on this Ides of March, as I wrap things up, this is not, I just want to say good morning to a few people. Good morning, Wanda. Thanks for the comments. Good morning, Brother Bradley Thomas, one of the greatest attorneys in the land, intellectual and personal injury attorney. Thank you all for joining me this morning on this Ides of March. Like I'm saying, I'm not telling you to go out here and start looking at people and being suspicious and paranoid, but trust but verify. Trust but verify. And have just a little bit of skepticism about every relationship you have. I even say that to people who are watching me, who are clients. Gatewood is good, okay? He's trustworthy, he's honest, he's transparent. But you don't have to give me all the codes, everything you want. I may get hit on the head one day and lose my mind. You never know. So always have keep some things close to your chest that you don't have to share with everybody. All right, folks, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you again, everybody. Colette says transparent is the best way to be. And that's probably the antidote to all of this. Be transparent around the people that you work with in your personal lives. And I don't mean give out all your secrets, but don't be that stealthy, secretive person that gives people a reason to believe that you're going to be the one that put that knife in their back. And so on this Ides of March 15, I'm just raising awareness on, as the OJs say, they smile in your face all the time. They want to take your place. The backstabbers. All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up for today. This is the Marketing Pulpit Show. Go to marketingpulpit.com and share this show and like it. Follow us on our platform. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter, which is X. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Instagram. And this information should be shared with others. And as we try to build these businesses in our community and put our people to work. Also, when you come back next time, also, if you want to join the conversation, we put the link to the show on the homepage. And just if you want to come on and talk about one of the topics, you want to plug your business, if you can contextualize it, just come on screen, give us a little heads up, and we'll put you on the air with us. We always happy to have our intelligent, sharp guests joining us on the show. And as I say always, if you want to be successful, you have to do these three things. Do the right thing, do it at the right time, and you have to do it right. Enough talk. Let's get to work.
Amina, the founder and CEO of HBCU Leggings. My small business story started with my passion for my alma mater, Howard University, one of the most renowned historically Black colleges and universities. In 2020, I was given the opportunity to organize a t-shirt fundraiser for Howard alumni, and in just 2 weeks, we successfully raised and donated $17,000 to Howard University. That experience inspired me to extend my support to all HBCUs. Obtaining a license to create collegiate apparel was the first significant obstacle I had to surmount. And now, HBCU Leggings has licenses with 8 HBCUs, with several more on the horizon. Apart from creating exquisite apparel, HBCU Leggings is also committed to raising awareness about the extraordinary contributions of HBCUs. The business disseminates information through blog posts, social media content, and e-newsletters. My ultimate commitment is to give back to these outstanding institutions. A portion of all sales generated by HBCU leggings is directed towards supporting each represented school with the objective of giving back 15% of our revenue through royalties and donation. My motivation comes from my deep love for HBCUs and my aspiration to want to make a positive impact in this world.
One cup of greens per day will lower your risk of dying from heart attack or stroke by 30%. Hallelujah. A half a cup of beans every day will drop you down by another 30% because of the fiber and the medicines in the beans will sweep away the cholesterol and the saturated fat. Half a cup of berries per day with all of the antioxidants and flavonoids will drop your risk down. And then finally, a fourth of a cup of nuts and seeds every day will drop your risk down by 33%. You simply eat those foods every single day and take everything else away that's destroying you. And we could eradicate heart disease, high blood pressure, and stroke. Glory! Hallelujah.
Register today and get ready for your health revolution.